Hey guys, welcome to the third episode of the Soups On podcast. Two friends slash idiots talk video games. I am your host, as always, literally Soup, and you all know the co-host, Ungerman03.
Hey guys, what's going on? Excited to keep doing this for you. We enjoy filming it, and I hope you enjoy the ever-changing backgrounds.
Oh yeah, it never gets old. It's gonna be. I do like that one. It's got Claudette there. You see Dwight just kind of peeking out behind. So you know what? It's pretty good. I'm curious to see what you come up with now each time too, because I have no say in this personally. It's as much a surprise for me as it is for the viewers. Uh, so on today's episode, the main thing that we wanted to talk about was again Dead by Daylight, and the particular topic is ranks and basically the idea of a competitive mode or a ranked competitive mode as opposed to like having a separate casual mode. That's something that has been talked about in my chat often. It's a pretty hot topic. It's something that I talk like fairly often about. So I thought that we could talk about it on the podcast for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a topic that we have discussed before, but unfortunately, that footage is unusable.
Yeah. But that's okay. You know what? I think it works out better that we have a whole separate episode just to talk about the kind of rankings.
Abs-
No, go ahead.
no, absolutely. I was just agreeing with you. It's nice to have just a separate episode based just on that. It will be good. We can go into more detail.
So for those that don't know, like a quick rundown of how the rankings work. When you start off, if you're brand new to Dead by Daylight, you're going to be ranked 20. Doesn't matter, killer or survivor. You're going to be ranked 20. That's it's the highest number, but it's technically like the lowest or like newest rank. And then as you play the game, as you get more experienced, you will eventually, you will do well, you will escape or you will get kills, you will play the game, figure things out, and you'll be able to rank up, and your number will slowly drop, and you'll hit different colors for different ranks until you will most likely, if you played enough, hit that red rank area or rank 1, which is the highest rank that you can achieve in Dead by Daylight. I myself am a rank. Well, I'm rank 1, but I mean I just say I'm red rank because it all kind of just blends together at that point.
Yeah, and I am the best rank you can possibly be from playing the game nonstop as a diehard. Rank 20, I think, because of rank reset. I don't know if I've played since then.
Yeah, I think you've played like once, but still, like it takes you can't just get up in a rank with one game. It takes a couple games.
Although, I mean, with the games that we play, who knows? It's pretty close.
Yeah, you never really know. You never really know, I guess.
And that's another thing to point out. Ranks mean very little because I'm a rank 20 because I just don't play the game that much. But when I get in the game, I usually have in the top two of points in almost every game I play.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Just because you're ranked 20 or because you're one of the lower ranks, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily new to the game. They have a rank reset. It hits once a month. It used to actually take you back about like roughly like 9 to 10 spots on the rank board, if you will. But now it just sets you back like one color, so it doesn't actually push you back that far, and it would take numerous months just to get as far back as you are. But despite that, like you still have a lot of experience in the game, and you've played it casually, but you've played it for a couple of years now. So yeah, ranking doesn't really mean anything. It's kind of more a just telling of how much time you've put into the game in the last 3 to 4 months at least.
Yeah.
That's kind of more what rank tells you. Um, is more of that, and not so much that you're necessarily the best or most skilled player in the game, which is totally okay. You know, I never claimed to be the best survivor, but you know, I do have a lot of experience. I have a lot of knowledge. You know, I feel when I'm playing the game, I generally know what the best move is to do at any given time. Whether it ends up working out, you know, that's a whole other story. Whether
Yeah,
I can
that's
actually pull off what I'm trying, you know, maybe not.
yeah.
But it's about the knowledge.
Yeah, and sometimes, like you go off of statistics, right? Statistically, something can be the best play, but if the killer doesn't do what statistically they normally would, it just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't always work out. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. There's many times where I thought, okay, the best thing to do here is to go the long way around here because the killer's gonna come straight to me because of barbecue and chili or something like that. So I take like this really odd route that makes the most sense for maybe going for an unhook, and then for some reason the killer just went right there and found me.
no.
And I was like, damn, it was the wrong play, but given my knowledge at the time, it was like it made the most sense. Statistically speaking, it was the best route to take. It didn't pay off.
Yeah, you go off of the information that you know, right? And that's what you
Hmm.
base your decisions on. Like if you
Yeah.
know the killer went a certain way, you go off that information. You don't know if 5 seconds later he decided to go somewhere else when he was out of kindred range, right? Like
Yeah, that's very true.
so, like if you're going off of kindred, you go off the knowledge that you saw him walk one way, so you're going to go the other way for the unhook. You don't know after 5 seconds which way he actually is.
Yeah, he might have just gone out of range, and now he's just waiting for someone to go and get the unhook. Maybe they
Yeah,
found someone else. Maybe there's a lot of different things, and it's the same thing when you're in a chase or when you're I play killer sometimes as well, and I try to put myself in the survivor's shoes. So if I get them to like a jungle gym tile, I'm chasing them one way, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna double back because logic says they should vault here, and I'm gonna go around and hit them that way because they're not gonna expect it. And yet on the other hand, they end up just like ignoring the vault entirely and just running way the hell away from the tile, and
yeah,
it ends up so that's the right play for them, but it might not have been like statistically speaking, it wasn't what was most likely to happen.
yeah,
It worked out that way. A lot of times it comes down to a guessing game and predicting what the other side is going to do.
yeah,
So and ranking can kind of play like a bit of a part in that, because if you're really high ranked, odds are you know mind games a little bit more, so you know what the other side is going to do already, or you think you know what they're going to do. So then you go, oh, if they think I'm going to vault, I'm going to run this way or something. But you can also mind game yourself too.
yeah, absolutely. But with all this being said, there's a lot of randomness in the game. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Yes, yes, I would 100% agree.
And
Um, my like yeah, randomness is a huge factor in the game, and I don't think a lot of people fully understand that.
so, with that being said, because there is a lot of randomness in the game, let's just say it before we get into all the details of what could and what couldn't work.
Hmm.
The way it stands right now, with all the randomness in the game, can Dead by Daylight, without making any changes, make a competitive game mode? A true leaderboard competitive game mode.
Could they make one? They
Well,
could, but
yes, I mean they could. Would it be good?
would it be accurate? No.
No.
No, with everything currently, like how the game is right now, they absolutely 100% could not make an accurate competitive mode, because there are just too many factors. There are just too many random factors into every single game. You've got a team of four people. They might be in comms, but they might not. They could all be solo, and you can't control what they're going to do or what perks they're going to bring in. You've got a killer that might play a certain way. Maybe they have a different add-on or different like things that are really overpowered, or maybe they're not running anything at all. There's too many factors, and that's just the characters. The biggest factor, in my opinion, is the maps. That's what makes it the hardest, in terms of like trying to make this game competitive, is because the maps are too random. Just in terms of the different styles of maps, how some of them are very survivor sided, some of them are very killer sided, some of them it really depends on what killer you're playing on what map, and it can make a big difference. If you're playing Hillbilly on the hospital map, it's much worse than if you're playing Ghostface on the hospital map. You know,
Absolutely, yeah.
huge difference between the two on a map like that. But on a different map, on like Blood Lodge or something, then Billy has a distinct advantage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like with killers and their maps, that's one of the biggest reasons that I feel like it would be a hard time making it a competitive game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then, like, how would you change it to make it competitive? Like, the one thing that I think of is like, would you make Dead by Daylight have a hardcore mode that would be the ranked game mode? Like, would you do a
Well, what would you consider a hardcore mode? Would that be no perks, no add-ons kind of thing?
yeah, in a sense, that would be no perks, no add-ons, or they would have set perks and set add-ons for characters. Like, you could only have like when I say hardcore core mode, I think I actually more so mean like every player would have only the how to explain that adept perks.
Okay, so like yeah, they're teachables.
Yeah, and only and like survivors would be the same, and killers
Mm-hmm.
would all be the same. Like they would only have their adept perks, like their teachable perks.
Right. I mean, that's an interesting idea. To be honest, I've always liked the idea of every survivor having like a certain perk that was only theirs. That's probably a topic for another time. But even that, like that would put certain characters at a distinct disadvantage. Like nobody would run David King. He has no
Yeah,
mither as one of his perks, and another perk that does nothing but get you more blood points. You know, I don't think anyone would actually run him in a hardcore like competitive mode with only his teachables.
no,
So it makes it pretty difficult. I think the hardest or the first thing that they would have to do is they would have to have set maps, and those maps would have to have the exact same tile setup every time,
yeah.
right? If they wanted to do a competitive mode, it would have to. Because again,
Well,
going back,
to be an accurate competitive mode, because obviously, like you were saying before, they could just throw in a competitive leaderboard right now,
yeah,
but it wouldn't be accurate.
right, yeah, they could set up specific rules or something like that. Like it could technically be done, but it wouldn't really be accurate if it was essentially the same game that we're playing now, just it's ranked instead of, casual mode kind of thing.
Yeah,
But essentially it would be the exact same game. I don't think it would be viable, or at least, yeah, like I've said, it wouldn't be accurate. Because even going to the same map, like I'll go again to Blood Lodge, because I feel like that's a really good example. Sometimes when I go in Blood Lodge, it has like three generators kind of right in the middle, and the setup is really strong for like a killer to be able to guard a certain kind of area. But then other times, there's maybe one generator in the middle, all the other ones are spread out, and instead of generators, there's like three or four really strong pallets all in the middle.
yeah,
That's the same map, the exact same map, but but the tile setup, the where the pallet spawns are completely different, and it will totally change, potentially change the outcome of the game.
yeah, absolutely. Another thing I was going to bring up is with the team and the size they have now for this game, like the
Mm-hmm.
development, is it viable for them to run two different lobby styles, a competitive and a casual style?
Oh man, I don't think I would have to check the numbers. I don't think it's currently viable, but in an ideal world, I would love it.
Yeah,
If it didn't affect lobbies and and crossplay is coming up, right? So who knows if that brings it so that all lobbies, killer survivor at basically any time of the day, are under a minute, then who knows? Maybe something like that would be viable. But from a personal standpoint, I would love it if they could have like some sort of casual mode and then some sort of separate ranked mode. You know, in my head, it would go so that the ranked mode would have, and I don't want to get like too much into specifics, but essentially the rank mode would be you are trying to, as a killer, you're trying to kill everyone, at any means necessary, whatever you have to do, kind of thing. And as a survivor, you're trying to essentially like get points, do gens, and escape, right? And it would be more emphasis on that and less on like essentially what I find fun.
Yeah.
So you would fully expect all of the survivors to be running the meta builds, which is kind of like the your D strike unbreakable, your dead hard, your adrenaline, maybe your resilient spine chill if that's kind of the vault build that's very popular right now.
Yeah, and then you have your no mither, object, tenacity. Well, tenacity is actually a good perk, so I shouldn't throw that in the bad perk
Object
pile.
can be a good
Eh,
perk too, but it depends.
yeah, yeah, it depends. It depends on your build, I guess.
Depends on
And
the
he's
killer.
yeah,
If it's a stealth
mm,
killer, object is brutal. But if you're going against a Freddy or a trapper, it's actually
yeah,
really, really overpowered. But
yeah.
go ahead.
Uh, but yeah, yeah, you wouldn't see perks like that in the game. Boil over, which you don't see now anyway.
Or just like some of the meme perks. You wouldn't see diversion, aka pebble. You probably wouldn't see head-on plays. You wouldn't see red herring is a newer one that's kind of a meme perk. Um, a lot of the fun builds that you can do you just wouldn't see, or like you wouldn't see them in the ranked mode because it's all about getting the W kind of thing.
Yeah. Would you believe you'd see more of it than in casual because people who are sweating out other games can now come and just screw around in non-ranked games?
And that would be the ideal situation, yeah.
Or would it be that you'd have people using casual as a training ground and playing super sweaty and casual and be like, okay, now I feel like I've got a good enough build and playing good enough that I can jump into ranked.
I mean, that
You'd
would
probably have a mix of
probably
it.
happen, but like I feel like if they had a separate mode for the two, then at the very least it would take away some of the sweat and some of the tryhards that you currently see pretty often. You would still get those, those type of people. It'll still occur in casual mode. People would still, some of them would try to play very sweaty on both sides. But I do think that it would lessen it at least, especially if there was some sort of incentive on the ranked side. If they had an actual physical leaderboard, and I don't really care about leaderboards personally. That the whole rank thing, like I wouldn't do it at all. I wouldn't even mess with it. I'm much happier just having fun in casual mode kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if they did have some sort of incentive for going in the ranked one, whether it be a slight increase in blood points, some
What if
sort
it
of
was aesthetics?
yeah, I was gonna say like some sort of charm or one of the like the charms that they've recently introduced would be another option, or some sort of cosmetic thing. You
Yeah,
know,
cosmetic, not aesthetic. That's what I was thinking. Cosmetic.
I kind of figured,
Yeah.
but there's stuff that they could do. There's definitely something that they could do for that, assuming that they had the the player base for it.
Yeah.
I would love to see it though. If it could be done, I'd love to see it because I'm all about having fun and having like those interesting different builds. Trying out new things and not always running the same like meta perks on either side. Those
Yeah.
are always the most boring games. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, and the thing is too, you would probably, I mean, it sucks, but you would probably see the same couple of killers in ranked mode all the time.
Yeah, you probably would.
You
You'd
know.
see some of the considered overpowered ones, like you'd see really, really good nurses and really, really good huntresses, and the
Hmm.
huntresses that are really good would probably still be exploiting their
The
amazing
hitboxes.
hitboxes. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you probably would. You'd probably see, the odd Billy, you'd see the spirits. But you wouldn't really see some of the lower or even mid-tier
wouldn't see very many
killers in
trappers
there.
in a competitive game.
No, unfortunately not. And I love Trapper. He's a fun character to go against, and he can really snowball and stuff too. So I would definitely miss seeing Trapper, which is why I wouldn't be in a ranked mode
Yeah, I feel
myself.
like. Sorry, go ahead.
But I was just gonna say is that at least if you were going in the ranked mode, you could actually expect those things to happen, right? Like if you're going in, it's like I'm gonna play ranked mode now. So if I'm playing Survivor, I'm putting on my best perks and I'm taking it serious. No meme games, no funny builds or whatever. I'm gonna take it serious and try to survive. And if you're going in as killer, yeah, I'm using the best add-ons that I have, the best offerings, the best perks, and I'm gonna try and take advantage of this and destroy the opposing team.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. But I wish that it didn't happen as much currently because it kind of wrecks the fun for the other side.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, and I think, yeah, like you were saying before, if you'd open up a competitive game, I feel like it would allow the casual side to probably be a little bit more fun based, kind of
Mm-hmm.
messing around, different builds. People could just have fun and do things that they normally wouldn't do.
Oh yeah, and like you can still play real games. It doesn't mean that the casual side would be, all farming games or anything like that. Like it would be actual games. It would just be the ideal situation would be you would get a wider assortment of killers trying out a bunch of different perks instead of always seeing the same things. Some of my recent like the one thing that I haven't liked about some of the more recent killers, specifically Oni and Deathslinger, is that you basically only see one type of build on them all the time. Every like 99% of the Onis that I go against, infectious fright. You know, 99% of the death slingers, monitor and abuse. And like the same couple of perks, you can basically just pick what you're gonna see and you know it's gonna be there.
Yeah,
But if it were in casual mode, maybe you wouldn't get that. Maybe they try out some different perks, try out a different build, see if you can get something fun going on. I'm all
yeah.
for it. Would you stop looking at Meg there? I can see you doing this
Uh,
thing.
Not doing anything. Oh man. No, but I'm curious to see what all you guys, what all the viewers think about competitive. What changes do you think they would have to make it viable, or do you think it's viable now? It's not, but I want to know if you think it is.
It's not, but
You're wrong, but
no.
no,
What I
I
would
don't.
be more curious about actually, if people do want to give their opinions, that would be great. If there was a casual mode and a ranked mode, would you which one would you play in most? Would you want to go into ranked mode? Would there be something? What would make you want to be in the ranked mode? Or if you don't want to be, then would you just chill in casual and try and have more fun, or would you go for the more try hard serious side of it?
No, yeah, I'd
I'd
be
be very
curious to
curious.
know.
But yeah, that's our talk on balance. Unless there anything else that you wanted to add about the balance of like a ranked to a casual mode or a competitive mode, I should say.
No, I think we kind of covered everything that I was thinking of.
All right. Well, then that's the podcast for today. And thank you all for watching again. If you could, if please leave a comment, give some feedback, anything that you'd like to hear us talk about. We'd love to hear it, and maybe we'll bring it up on the next one.
Absolutely.
But until then, soup's off for now, guys. Have a great night.